Now, in the world of Super Mario, there are a number of enemies that are just hell to deal with. While the Goomba doesn't really fall in this category, there are a bunch of others that do fall in this. Like the Lakitu, who will constantly bombard you with more spiky foes. But while that one can be annoying, there's one other type of enemy that's a lot worse. The Hammer Bro. This Koopa is unlike any other seen in the game, being faster, more agile, and a whole lot stronger because of their new weapon, the Hammer, which they will throw at your head. And today we will take a look at the best Hammer Bros seen in the series. Now, let's jump right in. Number 5. Now, while hammers can be hell to deal with, Nintendo also came up with other things to annoy the players. Something that moves differently and doesn't deal damage in the same way. And a good example of this is the Fire Bro. These made their first debut in Super Mario Bros. 3, where only 3 appear in the entire game. Which is a bit sad. But luckily enough, later on we saw them in more games like New Super Mario Bros. And even the recent Super Mario Odyssey. And instead of throwing hammers like their relatives, Fire Bros have the unique ability to throw fireballs akin to Fire Mario. And those projectiles move and act differently compared to the hammers thrown by the normal type. These bounce over the ground, and so dodging them is a completely different challenge compared to the hammers, which are thrown in an arc. Now sure, this isn't some amazingly huge difference, but still, while you might not think about it, this small change does make it all different. You will especially notice this when you put both the normal Hammer Bro and this Fire Bro together in a level. Aside from that, it's interesting to see an enemy like this using a power-up like the Fire Flower against you, the player. Most enemies just shoot one ball and that's kind of it. For example, piranha plants. While this enemy will bombard you with them, while also jumping around the place. So, especially in the earlier years of the Super Mario series, these guys were an interesting challenge. Number 4. Now sure, fireballs and hammers are fun and all, but there's one other thing they can throw at you that's very similar: ice. And the ones who do this are the Ice Bros. And they don't shoot those darn fireballs or throw hammers, but actually come around the corner with ice balls. These were first seen in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and they first appeared in World 3 Enemy Course. And these frozen spheres they are throwing are quite unique weapons. Because aside from dealing damage to you, they can also do something else that's a lot worse: freezing you. If one of them hits you, you will turn into a big ice cube. And this can also happen to other enemies as long as they are hit by them. And like most of their related species, they usually attack in a group of their members. Now, what's so cool about this enemy is that their freezing ability can be quite fun as well as annoying. For example, if you don't have an Ice Flower power-up, you can use the balls that they fire to then turn enemies into icy platforms. But while this is cool, you sadly enough can't use it that much. And that's mostly because you usually have a power-up of your own to do this. But on the flip side, what makes them so annoying and also interesting to fight is that they can freeze you as well. And if that happens, you need to break free fast, or you could fall down like a brick straight into a pit. It also completely kills your momentum, which certainly makes it a shocker for most players. And personally, I think that's quite cool. Sure, it's again something small, but that's usually the case with different types of the same enemy. And as long as they add something new and interesting, it makes me happy for sure. Number 3. Now for our next Hammer Bro, we won't look at one that is throwing some sort of special projectile. Oh no. The next type is actually different in a completely other way. Something that can certainly screw you over if you don't know about it and you're not paying attention. I'm talking about the Sledge Bros, who were first seen in Super Mario Bros. 3, where they replaced the Hammer Brothers in the Giant Land levels as well as on the area's map. Now this is a thick boy. And just like the normal version, it will throw hammers straight at your head. However, the thing that really sets them apart is that whenever they jump and land on the ground, they will create a miniature earthquake, which can then paralyze the player, sort of freezing them in place. But in order for this to happen, you need to be on the ground. so you can counter it by jumping at the right moment. And while they look a lot tougher than a normal type, they can't survive any more damage than a normal one. So they sadly enough aren't any more beefy. Now what I like about them is the fact that they can stun you, which works well in combination with their hammer throwing ability. They can, for example, first stun you with their earth-shattering jump, and then they will throw a hammer straight at your head, which will be a lot harder to dodge because you're stuck. In a lot of ways, this new stun power forces you to be more alert, because if you don't pay attention, you can be stunned by them at almost any point, even when you're just inches away from a Goomba who's walking towards you. And so you can still die to that one pathetic little Goomba. So I gotta praise them for what they added to the games, especially in Super Mario Bros. 3. It made that game so much more dynamic. It forces you to time a jump, which you're not always ready for, and so it can make things harder and forces you to adjust your plans at any time, which makes the game more exciting in my opinion. Number 2. Now sure, it's cool that they can throw all kinds of things at you and that Nintendo made a big boy version, but none of them can match this next Hammer Bro, the Boomerang Bro. An enemy with a weapon that's the best by far compared to all the others on this list. They will throw the Australian didgeridoo stick at your head, also known as a boomerang, and these act completely different compared to everything else. Instead of just an arc or hopping across the ground, these will fly towards you, and after that, they will also come back to haunt you. Again, these offer a different kind of challenge compared to all the others in the series, and that's all because of this stick with a slight bend. Normal objects that they throw at you never come back. Once they are past you, the danger is basically gone. But this version completely changes that, making them more difficult at times to defeat. But sadly enough, it's not always more difficult because they are really slow in throwing them. But when you fight 2 of them, it can certainly offer a very fun challenge, because all of a sudden you're dealing with a bunch of boomerangs coming at you at a higher pace. I especially noticed this in Bowser's Fury, where this specific Hammer Bro type is seen quite a lot, especially in groups, and I quite enjoyed fighting them in these games. And at times their boomerangs really caught me off guard, and so I lost my power-up thanks to that. Now another thing that makes them hard to dodge as well is that they are a lot bigger and are in the world for a longer time, increasing the chances you will come into contact with one of these sticks. So I like them. They offer something new and are one of the most interesting challenges together with the Sledge Bro. Number 1. Alright, now we have arrived at the Hammer Bro Magnum Opus, a type that is above all the others in so many ways, especially when it comes to power, because this one is truly hell to deal with, to be honest. I'm talking about the amazing Flying Hammer Brothers, who were only seen in one main series game, Super Mario World. When it comes to all the others, we didn't see them at all. Now these hover around on a 2-block version of the flying platform that swings back and forth, and from there they will rain down terror by tossing hammers from their swooping platform. And also, a lot of them. Not just 1 or 2, but like a million. And they can be defeated by hitting the platform from below, jumping on top of its noggin, or just using some other type of attack like a power-up. Now, as you can imagine, they can be really hard to deal with because they are hard to get to and hit, and will bombard you with literally a million hammers the whole time. Thanks to them, an entire area can become a hellscape. In a lot of ways, it always reminds me of how arrows were used in medieval warfare. During those times, they would often shoot volleys of arrows, and those would rain down on their enemies. And in a lot of ways, this enemy does the exact same thing. And I gotta say, it's pretty darn effective. Personally, I already struggle with the normal Hammer Bro, and this one is like a million times worse. And another thing that makes them special is that the amazing Flying Hammer Bro is unlike anything seen in the game. Nothing can even match them when it comes to their power. However, for some reason, Nintendo never really used them anymore after Super Mario World. Sure, in some spin-off stuff here and there, but that's kind of it. And this makes me sad, to be honest. Just like the Angry Sun, they have a lot of potential, especially in bonus levels that are supposed to be incredibly difficult. I bet if you would take this Hammer Brother type and put it in a game like Super Mario Maker 2, then people would do amazing things with them. We got the Angry Sun in that game after all, so why not add this one as well? Although I will admit, in my opinion, they should add almost any enemy in that game. And this also goes for power-ups. and also items. To be honest, I just want everything in Super Mario Maker 2, but regardless of that, I think this powerful Hammer Bro is the best out of all of them. He is their king, for sure. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you won't miss anything. Leave a little like because it really helps me out, and tell me in the comments which Hammer Bro is your favorite.